All right. So welcome everyone once again to our Monday morning Global Heart Resonance call. And the message here this morning is really clear and really strong. As participants and stewards of good of the whole, you know, as we're cultivating this ethos of wholeness and really, I don't know if I would use the word propagating, but propelling this expression of wholeness or whole world view. You know, this experience of being in service to something that we are a holographic whole and offering our services to. So welcome everyone, because that's why we're here, just diving into this unified field of love. So this morning, as we open the call in a deepening of this resonant field, the invitation is to really start with gratitude. And as we're breathing and we're feeling into this very intimate circle, holding that awareness of the earth as a whole and her inhabitants, the winged ones, the trees, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the cetaceans, all are being just thrown into this really challenging time. And it's up to us to really choose this sense of calm and peace and have that be where we come from. And the gratitude for being here, the gratitude for breath. So let's just take a couple of unified breaths here. And feeling ourselves sending our energetic roots down into the earth. You know, that we are here. We are beings of light. And that we're connected to this microbial light network. Wherever we're standing on the earth today. And that we're here to love more. Even in the most challenging of moments. Even when we have to self-correct in some ways. To find that beautiful groove of love. This recognition of all of these forces that are here supporting us and assisting us. And really supporting this building of a sacred community. Not specifically good of the whole, but a community of beings awakening to the preciousness of life, to those that have been in this swirling of experience of climate change and city change and government change and this arising of this unification of the masculine and feminine and our reception of ourselves and others. You see us being held in this beautiful bubble or orb of radiant love here this morning. One more breath of conscious gratitude to ourselves and how in every way, in the most perfect of ways that we're showing up. And with that, we can gently open our eyes and see this beautiful, gorgeous fabric of love here this morning as we hold the resonance for all those that will be listening to this call and those who are here this morning. So Welcome. And I want to welcome Henry Lepler, who is a part of this Resonance Council and just shows up here bringing such beauty today with the topic of myself and others, a Damanhur perspective. So he's just been to Damanhur in Italy, and he's gifting us this perspective for us to play in the field here together. So with that, just handing it over to you, Henry.
Thank you, Shelley. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm still taking in and gleaning and opening to some of the messages from the Damanhur experience and what they're sharing. So first, I'm not so sure how to describe them. Some of you probably know that community, but I just opened on the internet, and I love the top line that they express themselves as a laboratory for the future of humankind. So, so this particular reading is about community, but we here are also participating in a laboratory for the good of the whole, is a laboratory for the future. And we are pioneers. We are on a new frontier. So I brought this reading today to kind of deepen into and maybe even make a little more conscious the work that we are doing here and that each of you are probably doing in other circles or relationships or connections. So with that, I'm going to read the reading, the reflection. So the dimension of the individual development is inextricably linked with the collective. It is not possible for an individual to develop fully in isolation. Human beings are gregarious animals because the universe is a collective effort, because life emerges from the meeting of different species that affect one another, condition one another, modify reciprocally, creating opportunities for evolution. The community provides the ideal environment within which individuals can mature. Community here refers to the place where people work and live together. But it's a way of expressing every form of collaboration and cohabitation in any situation. A group of friends, a couple, an association, a sports team. These should always be experienced as settings for exchange, interaction, sharing, reciprocal assessment and support, and not just efficient and respectful functionality. To be in community means being willing to call yourself continually into question in front of others, to expect others to do the same while each participates in the growth of everyone else. Individuals cannot develop on their own, nor can they develop without helping someone else to do so. The Damanhur path to realization is a collective one in which the steps we take are verified together with others. Individual introspection is an indispensable element, but it is the meeting with others that it becomes a practical tool. So today's invitation is to go deeper into the reflection of our experiences in community right here, and other ways of connection that we have experienced, that group connection in the unified field. and other circles, collaborations, or co-creations. And just to make that more conscious. And also, just another piece is that this, that they express in this article, I cut it down and edited, but this is kind of an aspect of the Aquarian age that we are entering into, which is the focus is more on community. The next avatar will be more of the Sangha, will be coming from the community of all of us together. So, and one last piece that I want to share, that it's not that we still need self-reliant individuals. What is expressed in there, it's not that we need to, it's not depending on others to hold us up or to help us to stand up. So the sign of Leo is the complementary sign to Aquarius, which means it's founded on strong individuals and the leadership that comes within each of us and celebrating the unique gifts that each of us brings. So with that, I just open it and invite you to connect with this experience that in this oasis that we have here that honors the emergent of the future for all of us. So thank you. I pass the talking stick, the crystal, the snowflake, whatever you wish to take. Thank you.
Well, I'm just going to grab it for just a moment more. And just want to invite Henry and other people who aren't speaking to just put yourselves on mute as part of the replay. Just try to capture the person who's speaking, but if you're not on mute, it's hard to do. So just one quick thing just really was a dawning as I was listening to Henry and seeing this beautiful oh, that was interesting. I don't know what just happened. I guess I have to plug in, but I'll just say this really quickly. That what I heard was that beautiful quote about never forget that a small group of individuals can make a difference in the world. Those are just paraphrasing, but I just look at each one of you and the intentional connection within this community, which filters out to many more people. But it just, like, looking at each one of you, and I've been on Zoom a lot over the past 2 days, and just feeling this sense of we're here and we're together. And it doesn't have to be a lot of words. It's this sense of I guess it's that sense of an experience of resonance where we're just vibrating in connection and love and living our lives in ways that can't help but make a difference. And in this moment, in so many ways, I'm thinking of, different, how we touch people's lives as a community and as individuals. It's so powerful. And I know the Damanhur community, each community that exists is opening, that I believe is just the beauty is as we're weaving our collective connection, the magnetism amplifies and really creates this really beautiful positive shift in the world. So just wanted to honor that and thank you all. I'm complete and I'm going to go plug in.
Something that I'm present to is my sense of community, when I came to US 32 years ago, I was seeking the Iranian community, within DC area. And that's where my focus was. For what I felt, it is my gift and what I can contribute to that community. So I learned a lot during that time, and I don't know why there is this sadness coming. Oh, I mean, at the time, I feel that it was fulfilling, and I taught and I connected and shared and all of that. And then I felt that my homeland is calling me, and I have to go and pay back what I have received. So that's when I left my work 2003 and started traveling to Iran, and eventually decided to spend my retirement in Iran. And now I see, disappointment. And came back to Barbara and find Barbara actually when I came back. And okay, there is a word together when what Barbara brings in. So that together was my attraction, brought me into where I am right now. But interesting, when I chose to stay in California, it was this desire to contribute and be part of the Iranian community, because there are almost about 1 million of them here in LA. They call Los Angeles the Angeles, And hearing Henry about the future of human, being the community, I am the laboratory. The community is the laboratory. Any relationship is the laboratory. And I see that the sadness goes for, I felt coming back from Iran, I matured more into what I was going through, and now I share it in here. It is, I don't know, I didn't think I would be sad about it. But I did not find my community within 1 million of Iranian people in here. I kept being disappointed. I was not heard. It's like they are deaf. I was blind. They were blind. And so it feels everything worth it. All the disappointment, all the disconnect, all not seeing for this moment. To be here with my future community. Thank you for being my community, my love. Yes. I am complete. I am seeing that at so many levels, I have let it really go. Oh, when it's time I have to let the yogi community go. I know, I mean, I'm saying that, and it's still with some part of me, I'm just clinging to get to them and just love them and give and whatever. But so, my living.
Good morning, this is Julie. And it's hard to follow that. But what moved while I was listening to Nahid is my experience over the last 72 hours. And in a very similar fashion, that pain of feeling disconnected is very real for so many of us on many different levels. So my husband and I hopped in a truck and drove from Nebraska to the far northeast edge of Arizona and drove 2,444 miles in 60 hours to help move his parents out of a condo that they were considering selling, and they can't travel anymore. So we went and had this big trip. But I had all these hours with my husband. And so, you know, these 24-hour drives one way and turn around the other way, we had all this time together. And that same thread of community that we're talking about here, that's moving through even that desire that I'm hearing, was so ripe in our conversation, in our travels. And part of the way I was writing and on the computer, then I'd swipe through current events and news and begin to try to have a conversation with my husband. And very often all those headlines that was brought up in our resonance at the beginning of just having gratitude for being here now, all this news is there, and my husband would be just short answer, short answer, short answer. And there's this yearning inside of me to have this deeper connection and to have this intimate conversation of what really matters. And for much of the trip, we were focused and we were not in that space. And on the way home, I don't know what broke through, but that same need for community was there, that sense that this resonance, this new way of being, this new way of connecting is so vital to this evolutionary age of what we're moving into. And how do we deliver that, embody that even with our closest loved ones? So as we were sitting there, I don't even remember what shifted, but I was frustrated in the conversation. He's like, why are you getting frustrated? And I'm frustrated in the conversation. He's, why are you getting frustrated? And I was judging as if he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. And on the plane, Shelley and I drove that long road together one time through to New Mexico. On this long road, all of a sudden something shifted, and I was talking about the balance of masculine and feminine. And he made a comment about the world and our government and how hopeless. And so the frustration I was feeling, he said, I don't even want to talk about it because it's such a mess There's nothing to do. It's overwhelming. I don't know what I can do. I don't even want to vote anymore. I'm just da da da. And this little opening came, and the beauty was in saying, I just said, what would it be like if there was an equality, a balance in women in leadership? What would it be like if women were running the world right now? And I expected one of his good old boy, tough masculine responses. And he just got silent, and he got tearful, and he said there'd be more kindness, there'd be more compassion, there wouldn't be as much violence, there would be people working together, there would be more nurturing for all of our creative projects, all of our voices, all of our expression. And I was blown away. That conversation went on. I need to write about it because it was so beautiful for him to just pause and really take it in, and me to feel heard again. It was like this 60-hour whirlwind of conversation, and we had a lot of great conversation, don't get me wrong, but from this moment it was kind of like finally this sinking in of we can do this as humanity. And that's where he went with the conversation, not me. Where he went was, Jules, you got to go out and teach people this stuff. You got to go out and have them experience this. It's okay. You've got to do this. And his response was, I now feel hopeful. I now see that there are people all over the planet who are here to support us, to assist us, and that everything's going to be okay. And what a gift. And so I feel that that it's not just even a country in Iran, and I know there's incredible pain in the Middle East that needs to be healed. And there's incredible pain inside so many of us, even just like thinking about women and how women have been treated. And to just have that moment of a very masculine man say, I really get it. And I support it. Go, bring more resonance. Even started using our language. Bring more resonance to the world. So, and he also affirmed, he said, after all these years of listening to you, I think I've grown and learned and what have you. And I always tell you, why do you use all that language? I don't get it. And and he just was so in resonance with us all yesterday. So with that, I thank you all. And just, we need to continue to be this voice. So with that, I'm complete.
Good morning, everybody from California. It's Nancy. This is a very exciting topic to me, and it is hitting me deeply as well. I'm not exactly sure how, but maybe as I express, it will come. But what it's brought up for me is, and maybe this is the exciting part, to resonate with my own purpose in life. Because I've always connected with communities such as ours. Never one that's been this close and this long-standing and feels more like a life partnership. But I have never followed a guru or joined a community where I might live with people like other people in my circles have done. But that wasn't for me. And I've always kind of known that my purpose was to take this work out into the world and be more of a lamp. And so it's kind of exciting because the whole conscious evolution concept of that we're seeing it right before our eyes, like Julie was seeing it right before her eyes with her husband. Now it's the little name that I gave myself with Barbara's group, which was that I'm an evolutionary hostess. And when my mom became ill, it was about 5 years that I had to kind of put that aside, I guess you could say, and really just focus on my mom. And now I'm struggling a little bit just to get, well, I like to say get back, but you can't go back, to get forward. And yeah, I'm coming out again. I'm coming out to reclaim my evolutionary hostessness. And I think the most exciting thing is it's kind of easy to have this resonance in our circles. It's easy with all of you. It's home, it's support. It feels like, I don't know, everything's going to be okay. The world is beautiful because look at us in it. And then going out into our other circles in life where maybe that's not the resonance. I wonder why I always put myself in those circles, because it's a struggle. It takes patience. It's like sitting in a car for 60 hours with nobody that will have a deep conversation with you. And yet, the conscious evolution, I see it happening in my other circles. I see it happening in my own, like my networking group, that now I'm the president of the group for the next 6 months. As long as I can hold my truth wherever I go, it seems like everything's okay. And that's what's even happening in the company that I work with for 20 years. It's like I'm seeing it before my eyes, especially with women. There's a whole new women's initiative that I'm taking on as a leader, and this is bringing me out again to be my evolutionary hostess. But now it's like part of the company. I mean, the energy, the resonance has shifted. It's really unbelievable. It's believable. It's delightful, and it reminds me that I'm in the right place, because it's easy to be with all of you. It's not necessarily easy to go out and be a leader where it's not happening, but if you just hold your truth and be more of who you are, that it will shift, and it just being you will make a difference. And that's, I guess I could say, what I want to get forward to again, in the middle of many difficult things, dealing with my mother's estate and family problems and so on. But that's just an excuse. It's holding my own energy there as well. I've been doing a lot of painting. If any of you ever come to my house, you get to be in my new little art studio and do soul painting with me. It's just been a real help and beauty in my life right now. And so I'm working through some of these things through the painting process and through the creativity process. And it's like bringing me whole again, because as a child, I would just pick up a paintbrush and paint, and I didn't think about, is this good? Is this bad? Will it sell? What is this? It was just the creative process. And so the creative process of painting is, and I have a whole painting community that I'm doing this with. And it's very exciting. So I think my challenge and my life purpose is to go back out into the circles where I know I'm to be a leader and bring this light into different circles and make an impact on others. So thank you all for being the rock that I can come back to each week and fill up my gas tank, so that I can go out with some joy and purpose and bring the community to all the little circles in my life that aren't necessarily a community that's already doing it. So I just love you all. Thank you for being here. I'm on my cell phone today, so there's some rest of you. I didn't know quite how to see the rest of you. I've just been talking to Julie the whole time. Thanks for smiling, Julie. I am complete.
This is Dena. The call from the field, from our collective heart desire is energetic, so present, so now, clean, and it's a frequency. This is our community, is this frequency of connectivity. And when I stand in the middle of whatever circle, we are all standing there. We, as a resonant field, are pouring into the field in which I'm standing. And this is the call of seeing our co-creation as it's happening. That's at least the experience I'm having of an acceleration of seeing the result of my heart desire, like coming off like a newsreel into experience. And it requires not being attached to anything, to simply be in the experience as it energetically presents itself. And it's really calling for non-attachment to old ideas or old expectations or any projection other than right now. It's new. It's like riding a surfboard, and I've never taken surfing lessons. Yet it's so exhilarating, and there's a part of me that says, yes, I know how to do this. So anyway, that's the message I'm getting from the field, is we're all in this together. We're all the, I think I called us rainbow surfers some time ago, but we're surfing the waves of creativity. And it really requires a letting go of expectations and a loving what is. And we are co-evolving ourselves collectively. It's very powerful, very powerful. I'm complete.
Hi, this is Debra. I hope I'm being heard. Anyway, I need to speak to the fact that this experience, I feel like a full circle has occurred. I came into this group not as most of you did. I kind of discovered last week, and I literally was called by the field, and I have existed most of the time as I am today, just on my phone through the airwaves and the frequency, sharing them with you the weeks that I have, and it's very palpable for me, this field. And last week, having the opportunity to meet Shelley and assist her in her journey, and actually coming into physical contact with someone who was a part of this group, it feels like this amazing manifestation in a certain way of the frequency of the whole actually encountering and connecting in the physical. And so I just want to speak to that and express my gratitude and my amazement at how we are all connecting and co-creating together. And I don't know, just many, many blessings.
Good morning, everyone. This is June, and this discussion today is bringing back all kinds of memories of groups I've been in over the years. The first being my original family, and then the family of 5 kids and husband and wife, and what it was that brought us together and strengthened us, and what it was that pulled us apart when it did. And it brought me mainly back to my work with Angelus Arian, where everything was done in a circle, and where no matter what was going on, we would learn time and time again, depending on our ability to hold that circle, what work could be done in the middle of it. And that some just tremendously deep, deep work could be done in that circle when each of us was present to what was going on. We didn't have to do anything but just stay absolutely present and bring our energy to it. And I was thinking about how that works now, both with this group and just with life in general. How do I stay as a member, as an individual in a group where I, no matter what the group plan or whatever is, that I'm willing to stay totally present to serving that, but bring in my creative abilities or thoughts or ideas, and my willingness to speak truth if my truth has something to add to the group. And I realized that, you know, it's a 24-hour a day, I don't want to say job, it's a 24-hour a day privilege to stay as a member of a circle, that circle being our entire cosmos, that circle being all of our people we work with, all of our friends, and this deep group that's helped us, certainly helped me to hone whatever I'd learned before, to stay present to each one of you, to myself, and to the goals that we're putting forth, and to know that in that group, my truth telling, both to myself, which has to come first, and my truth telling to the group about how I feel or what I see, is absolutely necessary. I mean, if I'm not willing to do that, I'm really not a present member of the group. I've pulled myself out, and when I pull myself out, I've pulled out a hole in the energy field, and so I'm really seeing how important it is for me to stay present, even when I'm involved in 17 other things. How do I stay present to the large circle, to who we as a sentient beings are, and to who we as a group here is. And it's at one moment it's overwhelming, and the next moment it's just so deeply satisfying and feels like home. And so I just love this topic we're having today, and how important I think it is to each and every one of us. So thank you, and I pass the talking stick on.
Good morning. This is Karen. Wow, so much has been flooding in through all the talks, all the conversations, all the sharing. From the beginning, with the remembering of that feeling of never really belonging anywhere. Always included, but never really belonging. And then the realization from that one day It came through that I was to be a leader, which just, I felt completely inadequate to be. And the message that came through later, at a business conference where I had no business, but I was guided to be and had no idea why I was there, and I was supposed to share what we were doing and with a request, and I had nothing. And in my panic, I went out and found a quiet space, got quiet, connected with Source, and asked for just the right words. And what came through, which was in a startling way, was creating a new paradigm of being. How do you do that? And since that day, what has become what I refer to as my assignment has been a journey of learning. How do we create a new paradigm of being here on this planet? How do we manifest, recreate, bring heaven to earth again? How do I lead? You know, the only models of leadership out there were nothing that resonated with me at all. But on this journey, I've been finding there are models now. There are ways. Servant leadership, transformational leadership, mindful leadership. And thank you, Nancy. You had some words that were meant for me. And that was that, I don't know if I get the exact wording, but basically that just being there, just being, I'm just, my presence is enough. I'm enough. I can do this somehow, some way. And of course, many of you know this has culminated in me just following directions for a long time. And the Crystal and Light Foundation. And, you know, I too, it's funny, there must have been something this weekend. I went through a time Sunday morning where I just was having what I would call one of my little hissy fits with the universe, and just not in a good place. In tears and things, and not feeling connected and supported either. Which sometimes is a challenge anyway, because I live in a foreign country that I don't speak the language very well, all by myself. Well, and with my kitties, but all by myself, and I'm alone most of the time, except when I'm with communities like this, which are my touchstone, my heart, my learning, my connection to all that is important in the world. And then something shifted. And that night, thinking of your husband, Julie, speaking to another man who's been in a whole different world for so long, always having to find any possible problem or negative that could happen, because he was a project manager and project engineer his whole life. And not understanding for all these years we've been working together on trying to get things off the ground, why he didn't get it. And he finally shared with me, he finally understood where I was coming from. He finally was getting it, because he finally had that experience that shifted him. I don't know what it was, but just, you know, his wife had been there, but, you know, it took him a while, and he gets it now. And he's still struggling to get from the I to the we, but he's getting there. And I see things moving much faster. At that first conference, when all I had were remnants of some esoteric of idea of creating some kind of a center or community, that was so huge and all-encompassing that people just would glaze over when I tried to explain it, and like, this can't be done, this is not possible, to finding people now all over the world with the same vision, the same basic assignment out there and it doesn't look impossible. More, in fact, it looks so doable that more and more people are coming on board to create both physical and virtual communities where we can live and work and play together in an atmosphere like this. So I'm so grateful for this. I haven't been with this group as long. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, Ariana, for inviting me and telling me about it. This is probably the most amazing group with the strongest connection to the field I've encountered yet. And it's been just such a blessing in my life. And I thank you all. And I just wanted to send out, especially to Mahid, this one huge, big hug. You're not alone either, and you get it. And we're all going to be working together because we can do this. We are bringing forth this new paradigm. And there is hope. And Sunday I got to go from just hopeless to knowing that and waking up this morning feeling wonderful. So I know we're in the midst of this transition. I had lots of ups and downs, but we're going to be okay and we're going to make it. And like Julie's husband, it's up to us. It's up to the human beings. And somebody sent something the other day that I shared on Facebook was a song, Put a Woman in Charge. And I said, no, put the women in charge. And that's what the song was about, really. You know, that change. And it's the change to the feminine. But so many men are waking up. So thank you all. I'm so very grateful and blessed to have gotten to be part of this group. And I'd love to get to know so many of you so much more. Thank you. I'm complete. I will pass the crystal, snowflake, or sunbeam to you.
So I just want to open it up to those who haven't shared and really to carry this experience of feeling the field move through us and lighten us and brighten us within the connection that's already existent. We're already connected. We're already whole. So with that, those who haven't, the rest of us will hold the field for those who haven't shared and go deeper. Whatever else is there, go wider.
I'll just put in my voice as I normally do and just say I'm really enjoying it, and I definitely resonate with a lot of what's being said all the way through, from the sense of feeling lost sometimes and not belonging, to understanding that we each have something to bring into our local and global communities. So I'm going to work on the evolutionary hostess as well and put back the wand.
Oriana, we can't hear you. We see your beautiful lips talking. Oh, there you go.
Is that better? It's across the microphone here. I just wanted to say grateful I am to feel the heart resonance, the heartfelt beingness being present with you. I feel called into this love, and I am grateful. I'm complete.
This is Henry. Just wanted to bring into the field what we are speaking about, but also the idea of the 100th monkey. That actually that was brought in a program I took while at Damanhur on the inner senses. And that one of the inner senses is the one of exchange. That we exchange something in our beingness, that here in the circle, especially with close connections, that happens, that certain of the qualities, certain of the soul beingness, I feel like that we receive or can receive even more within our group in understanding the unique gifts and voices of others, that we're taking that in, and that adds to our wholeness, our recognition of that. So also related to the larger idea of presence that people have spoken about, of being who we are 24/7 and bringing that in more. So of just realizing that 100th monkey, that exchange is and can happen and does happen osmotically, or however, through our feeling, through our knowing this field more and more, through becoming conscious of it. So I'll stop at that point. So thank you all.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you so much for bringing this into our field this morning, and just what these tender hearts, because all over the world there are just tender hearts, really, and we have an opportunity to touch them in whatever way we can. And I was just as we move into our day, just thinking about the inclusivity of the true community, because that's where I'm being touched. The true community is one that is inclusive of every other community, that holds the light, that holds the love, that holds the resonance. And like Henry said, just allows this field to undulate and expand the innate, inherent wholeness that we all are. And when we feel that, we feel home. When we feel that, we feel connected. And I'm seeing that in just so many different ways. Yesterday for me, it was a virtual Zoom with my mothers-in-laws and fathers-in-laws and family celebrating, doing an online baby shower. Whoever considered that? But this is the beauty of the field, is always informing us of how we can show up in these new creative ways. And I think that's what everyone's describing here. So this beautiful field today, just let it rip, let it expand out. We'll send our yum. And I feel really touched. And I know the healing takes place in an individual and a community, because we hold this love. And we hold this love for places and people who just haven't had the experience. So, we're listening as a part of Good of the Whole. You're listening as a part of us and other communities, and these circles are getting stronger. And that there is hope. That, to me, has really been the message of today, that to really, that luminescent thread of hope, just know that we're all standing there with each and every person. So with that, we can all take ourselves off mute and we can send this beautiful yum, and we will send out the replay. And if you're listening to this and you want to share it with someone, go to Good of the Whole, not Good of the Whole Community, Good of the Whole Facebook page. Always the replay is there, and we're looking at really getting an archive up on the website for people to tap into this. It takes a lot of energy. So blessings to everyone. Yum.
Yum, yummy, yum,
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 yum, yum, yum, yum,
yum.
yum, yum, yum.
We love you.
John,
Have a gorgeous day and a gorgeous week.